You are watching Macro TV, and in today's episode, we are continuing with Study Unit 2 in Chapter 2 in Fourie and Burger. We're still busy with the basic Keynesian model, and we are adding more components of aggregate demand to this model. In the previous video, we talked about consumption spending by households. Now the focus is on investment. Now, the key thing on this slide is that investment does not refer to financial investment. A financial investment would be putting money into a savings account, buying bonds or shares and getting your interest rate earned on that. But that's not the focus here. We talk about real investment or capital formation. If you're buying capital goods, machinery, or investing into a factory, that's the sort of investment we have in mind. If you think about the circular flow, this is the investment that firms undertake. So it adds to productive capacity. You often see the terms capital formation, gross fixed capital formation, or business fixed investment. That's what we have in mind. Now, the factors that influence the real investment is first off the real interest rate. And there's a negative relationship between interest rates and investment. Now, these interest rates, or the real interest rate, is defined as the nominal interest rate minus the rate of inflation. So it's the real interest that is earned. Now, the way to think about this is that when a business has cash on hand, they have two choices. They can put the money into a savings account or some financial instrument and earn interest on that, or they could put the money into the productive process, buying machinery or investing in a factory. So the real interest rate that we have in mind is an opportunity cost concept. You could have earned interest by putting the business money into the bank, but instead you put it into the production process. That's why you find this negative relationship. If interest rates that you could earn at the bank is particularly high, that means the cost of investing it into the business is also high. And in that sense, investment will decrease. People will not invest in these machines or factories. They would rather just keep the cash in the bank and earn interest. Expectations also has an influence on real investment. Business confidence has a positive link to investment, and regulations could also influence investment. Now, if you want to draw an investment function, it looks like the graph on the right-hand side. On the axis, you have the real interest rate on the vertical axis, and you have investment on the horizontal. You can see that there's a level of autonomous investment. If interest rates are zero, the level of investment would be this term IA over here. That's the maximum investment that you would get when interest rates are zero. Now, you find this negative slope between investment and interest rates. This negative relationship is all about that opportunity cost that I explained in the previous slide. And this whole curve can shift to the left or it can move to the right, depending, for example, on business confidence. If business confidence would increase, the whole curve would move towards the right, and you would typically say there is an increase in investment at every interest rate. So there's more investment at low interest rates. There's also more investment at high interest rates because it's a movement of the curve to the right. A tax incentive would do the same thing, basically by lowering the cost of production, and that would then motivate firms to increase investment. Now, if you want to add your investment function to the income and expenditure framework, the 45-degree line model, you would do it as follows. Now, typically, investment does not depend on income. In the previous slide, we saw investment is a negative relationship with real interest rates. So income doesn't influence the level of investment. That's why the investment line gets added to this framework as a horizontal line. It's independent of income, or we'd also use the term exogenous. So whether income is low over here, you have a fixed level of investment IO, but if income is high on the right-hand side, it's still the same level of investment because investment is independent of income. So if there's an increase in investment, the investment line would move parallel upwards. This would typically be caused by a decrease in interest rates or an increase in business confidence or some tax incentive that lowers the business cost. But the point being, it doesn't influence the relationship between investment and income. It's a parallel upward move. Adding investment to the consumption and getting closer to an aggregate spending term. On the left-hand side, you'll see the story. There's a decrease in interest rates. This leads to an increase in investment. And in your framework with the 45-degree line, where you've got expenditure on the vertical axis, you would see the investment function increasing from I0 to I1. And this simply gets added to the consumption term. It's household consumption plus investment. So if investment increases, it moves this line upwards. It does not influence the slope. Remember, the slope is influenced by the marginal propensity to consume. Investment has no link to that. To conclude, investment is a volatile component of aggregate demand, but it's also an important driver of economic growth. And the relationship between investment and interest rates will play an important role once we get to the ISLM model.